Hello everybody, goldmiser here, and today we're going to take a behind the scenes look at the furnace array I previewed in my last video, and we're just going to take a look at certain modules, what they do, and why I used them. So let's go ahead and get started. So first off, the first step that Shulker boxes will go through is this item filters system here. So basically this is a bit of quality control for the Shulker boxes that as they come in, which basically ensures that they all go in batches of 12, and then they are evenly distributed between the 12 systems that are the 12 modules that are in the array. So the reason I have 12 is just because that's what fit in 3 chunk loaders. So you can see 1, 2, and 3, and it fit nicely and compactly there, so I figured 12 would be best. It's also reasonable, it's not crazily high. So yeah, so basically what will happen is I'll just grab a chest here that has 11 boxes in it. And as you can see, 9 and 2 is 11. So if I just go ahead and check all of these boxes in to this chest here, they filter through the system. So this hopper fills up, this hopper fills up, and then this hopper fills up with only 1 instead of 2. So this comparator at the back here does not activate. Therefore the system doesn't activate either. So I'm just going to go ahead and clear the system here, and oh, that's right. And then I'll go ahead and chuck in something with 13 boxes. Not something with 13 boxes. 9 and 4 is 13. So if I was to put all 13 of these boxes in, you'd see that this fills up to 2 eventually, and then it locks, and the system locks so that all of the boxes can go into this filter system here, which basically flip-flops between this output. So we've got a little bit of testing items in there as well, but you can see we've got the white shulker boxes in there, and they're evenly distributed. If I look with the I key, they're all there, and then they're all there as well. So, and then what happened to the 13th box is it's actually still in the system, waiting to be used, or waiting to be implemented with the next batch of items. So I'll just go ahead and take that out for now. Moving on to activation lines, just simple butted piston rail lines here, just because that's just a little more expensive to the server, and I figured it would be better to use rails because they don't cause as many updates and they're better for lag. This whole system, by the way, is quite lag friendly. It runs at about 10 TPS if it's just kind of loaded and not running, and I believe it runs at like 20 to 25 if it's loaded and running. But there's a lot of entities moving around. If the player's further away from it, it's less, but it's quite expensive to be running to the server, but it's fine for the purpose that it serves. So this is the minecart loader here. So basically, if we turn around here, you can see there's a silo of hopper minecarts, and then they trickle the way through the system and end up on this detector rail. This comparator takes an output, and basically, when a hopper minecart is full with 2 stacks and 16 blocks, which start out from this shulker box here, so in this case it would be sand, the minecart is released and allowed to travel off. So I'll just make a little catch thing here, and if I grab a minecart and put it here, we can see that it fills up to 2 stacks and 16 exactly, and the next one is then dispensed. So 2 stacks and 16, put this back, that one's released, 2 stacks and 16. So yeah, I'll just clear the rest of these minecarts of the system. It doesn't keep cycling through, but again, 2 stacks and 16, nothing new to see here. It just reliably puts 2 stacks and 16 items, which is how many hot furnaces are in each of these rows here. So and that's just how the distribution works. So now if we make our way to the shulker box unloader here, it works in a similar fashion where minecart travels on top of these rails here, is unloaded by these 2 hopper minecarts, and then continues to its final destination, which is the same storage silo it came from. And this is a custom 8 times hopper speed shulker box filler, so you can see this shulker box there broken by this rail here, and a new one is dispensed from this dispenser above, and then each of these hoppers is triggered by this layout of observers, and they all push they all push items into this central shulker box here at a rate of 8 times hopper speed. So that's just for ease of use, makes it a lot quicker so that the system has time to recover, I guess, when it's running at full speed, and that way when it needs to take a break to break a box, it is then able to get back to how it started and rest before the next minecart comes in and starts to distribute items into the box again. So now we make our way over to like a 1-segment version of the big furnace array over there. So there's 6 of these in the larger furnace array. Obviously this is a little bit simplified, there's not as much going on, it's easier to see, but this is kind of like a earlier version of when I was creating this, the larger furnace again. So basically you can see there's a shulker box filler, shulker box unloader, and then there's the same thing on the other side. So filler, if we go down here, there's another unloader, and these systems work in tandem. And the reason for that is so that we can input items from left to right and then take them out again from left to right. So the minecart from over here will travel down there distributing items, and then it will make its way across and then travel underneath collecting all of the items the same way that the items came in, because this piston bolt is going the other way, and that means that when these minecarts there travel along this way, they distribute items from right to left, and then when the minecart makes its way all the way over there from this side, it picks them up from right to left as well. And that's just for the reason that that way no extra items or anything is left over in the hoppers after the system has been, I guess, completed and the furnace is shut off. So basically, this piston bolt here you'll see is actually not my design. This is a design from Pewwep, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'll link his video in the description, and he was the one that came up with the idea of basically the minecart will actually be over this hopper but also inside of this piston at some point, so that it can distribute items to all of the hoppers, even though there's some hoppers underneath the pistons. So in that way it makes this form factor a lot smaller and uses less hoppers and less space. In that way you can fit more of them in a smaller area. Fueling to the furnaces is just done with a regular hopper line. We do lock those hoppers when it's not being fueled, just to save on some lag, but obviously these ones can't be locked. There's not really a way to do that because they're covered from all sides, but these ones can be locked, and I do so even in the tighter spaces. It's still locked using a dust line. And then I guess the reason I chose piston bolts for this design was because they are significantly faster than the regular rail line counterparts, running at approximately 20 blocks per second instead of the rail's 8. The 8 is plenty for the fueling, because charcoal-based fueling basically means that each charcoal can last over a minute. So it's, as long as an item comes, as long as a chest minecart comes through here an eighth of the time that the hopper minecarts are run over the piston bolt, it still has enough fuel to run the system. And 8 is certainly more than an eighth of 20, so that's all fine and good to distribute fuel that way. Also, it saves on a little bit of space because it doesn't affect the efficiency again, but it doesn't require 5 blocks wide, and I guess in this case 2 blocks tall, in order to distribute the fuel to all of the minecarts. So moving on from this system here, we come to the user interface. So you've got your input, your output, your fuel, and then a few indicator lamps to show if you're out of fuel and if the array is running. Just a bit of logic back here to do that. Just some simple, like, basically item detectors. So if this chest has any items in it, the light, its light will turn on, and so on. So you use that a few times. And then I guess we should touch on the minecart, the chest minecart loader. So for the fuel, this is a silo of chest minecarts here, and they are fueled by these 16 Shulker Box unloaders. This is the part of the design that I took, borrowed, I guess you could say, from ilmango and Oreolamp. I'll link their video in the description as well. But he does a really good job of explaining how this Shulker Box unloader works, and then I implemented it in a slightly different way than he did in his furnace array, but same concept. So basically 8 droppers are filling up a single chest minecart at the same time to fill it up very quickly, and then it's taken out from underneath because it just snaps onto the rail when this piston here extends, and it travels off to fuel all of the minecarts. So then, as you saw in the preview video, I have a Shulker Box stacker. That's what this little silo here is for. Basically, we take 54 items, 5 and another 5, and then stack it into one stack, which is a carpet mod feature, where you can stack Shulker Boxes if they're on the ground and close enough, like just regular items stack up on the ground. And then we pick them up with a hopper minecart, and then the hopper minecart travels into this little silo here, which then is accessible through this button. And you can just, if I was to grab one right here, just toss it here, I guess. So you can see it travels into the silo here. If I push this button, it goes in here, it gets pushed forward, and then if there were items in here, they're easily accessible to the user. Push the button and it gets put back into the system. It'll bounce around here because the system's full, but it wouldn't typically, there wouldn't be a full amount of hopper minecarts there. I guess then we can just go on to the main system itself. So this is the large furnace array. I guess you could say 1728 furnace array, which is a crazy amount. I mean, I don't really see why anyone would need anything more than this. It's basically one Shulker Box in 10 seconds. It's just absurd, but it does work, so I guess there is some use for it. But yeah, again, the same user interface in here, some lights in the ceiling just to add a little bit of a touch there. And then, so yeah, so you can see we have the 1, 2, 3, and then the clone on the other side, so 4 and 5 and 6 of these tandem systems here. So we have a total of 12 loaders, 12 unloaders, and then 12 different 12 distribution piston bolts and 12 collection piston bolts, all chunk loaded by 1, 2, and 3 chunk loaders. So this entire system can be running when a player is, as long as the server is running, and even if there's no players around it. So yeah, there's a few extra touches here. So you see all of these seal engines around, and that's just for mob proofing. I covered the piston bolts up here just so that the occasional, like, I don't know, if something were to get in here, I don't really know what it would be, but it would be catastrophic if it were to end up, say, here, and then stops the minecarts, or something like that. So I just decided to cover it all up. Everything's mob proofed here, so if I turn on light level overlays, you'll see, if I turn it on here, you'll see, I guess it's not working, but that's odd. Oh, it is working. I just have to turn on mini HUD. So everything here you'll see has a green number and not a red one because it's all mob proofed and nothing can spawn. There's a whole lot of buttons over here. That's just to make these note blocks quiet, so that if someone is around, they don't hear constant noise. probably would also crash the sound engine because there's so many of them, but yeah, we don't have to worry about that because they're all covered. I guess, yeah, that's kind of it. If anyone wants a little bit more detail on how this works or on some of the other aspects of it, just let me know in the comment section. But I'll include a world download to just this furnace behind me, not any of this other stuff behind me here, but I'll include a world download to a fully functional furnace, and I guess I'll include a Lightmatic if you're interested in that, but it's a crazy amount of work to build survival. That's what we're working on right now. Yeah, hopefully that'll be done soon so I can show you guys that. But yeah, this has been it. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to catch you guys in the next one. See ya.